OCM team to ensure that it does get put into FAQs if we're seeing some things along this. So yeah, I want to go to the next slide, Angie. So as many of you are aware, Campus did go live. It was on Monday, and it was a successful deployment of the product, and we had a large number of users that were able to get into Campus and and start registering, and we have started receiving a lot of our EDI transactions and things that were coming in from that avenue. And we were proud of the launch. It was a good launch, but as we're all aware, this is a large application with multiple stakeholders impacted with very distinct and discrete business things and functionality that has to be deployed. And as part of that, we're seeing that there has been some issues that have been coming up. We're jumping on those issues, and we'll address them, and we have a slide later. But I wanted to take the time to say, it was a good launch, but we are experiencing some difficulties, and we are experiencing some challenges. And of course, when I say we, that's the collective we. That's everybody on this call is probably experiencing something, behaviors that they didn't anticipate in the system, or know somebody that's having some problems right now. So I want to say, first off, thank you for your patience in this. It's a very stressful time for everybody, as we know, and we want to make sure that we're there for you, and that we do take your feedback, and we do listen, and we do want to fix this system and get it right. So that's why we're having this call today, is to talk about where we're at and what we can expect during this next few weeks to stabilize the system and get everything going, so that we are able to conduct business as normal. We anticipated that there was going to be a period of a stabilization at the beginning, especially because we were migrating over multiple systems that were at least some were 25 years old, and multiple databases coming together, and that does create some issues when you go live and you're starting to see the actual users of the system get in there, and you're seeing the data collisions and some of the issues that way. So for that, we do apologize. We understand that there is some people that are frustrated out there, and rightfully so. But we want to say that we are working on it. We do have a number of folks that are working around the clock to get this system more normalized, more stabilized, to get us going forward. So with that, I'm going to start the presentation going into some of the resources that we have offered out there for our stakeholders in the help desk. The help desk that we have, got a little overwhelmed at the beginning of this rollout, mainly because a lot of work questions. One, they're very complicated, and then if you add on to that a large IT component, it just takes a long time to resolve some of these questions and some of these answers, and especially when we're trying to identify, is this a system thing, is this a user thing, is there just is there something going on out there? So they were a little overwhelmed in the beginning, and we just the department has met, and the Commissioner Robertson has put forth all efforts to ensure that our customers will get helped. So the first step is to make sure that we are getting out of the backlog that we do have of all the calls and all the emails that have come through, because we want to make sure that our customers do know that we do hear them, and we want to get back with them as soon as possible. Some of the issues that we have been hearing, you want to go back? I'm sorry. Angie? Okay, thank you. Okay, go back. Angie?
Yep, sorry, I lost control of my mouse there for a second.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, yeah. So some of the things that we are doing is they have bolstered the staff of the help desk with more people from within the agency. They have dedicated more of our tier 2 triage folks and more subject matter experts to start taking these tickets. There's always going to be a natural bottleneck because some of your questions you have are not just system related, they are very system related that integrates in with a lot of policy questions. So we have to get to the right people to get those out. And we want to make sure that those are accurate. Some things that we are doing is we're making sure that now that we're getting the email, we're going to make sure we send a response email to ensure your message was received so that you do know that somebody is working on it and we'll get back to you in a timely manner. In that email, we're looking at ways to improve it to where maybe we could direct you to a place where some of these issues that people are experiencing will be documented so you would know, one, what the issues are that are out there and when the estimated fix would be for those. The other thing is we are training not just our help desk team, because our help desk team has done a great job of coming into this. They really have stepped up and really taking on a lot of different roles, but we're going to give them a little bit more tools in their toolbox to help people when they call and be able to answer some of these questions up front so we don't have to wait for tickets to go through. But we've also starting to train a lot of other staff that haven't been so involved with the program to be able to answer specific questions we're getting over and over again. So we have more of a force around those primary problems. You want to go to the next one, Angie? Okay. What will we need to provide the help desk when you call? So this is something that's really nice for us from a standpoint of, from the project standpoint, when we're looking at when something is escalated up to us to determine whether the behavior they're seeing is a bug, or is it a gap that we missed in requirements, or is it something where it could be user error? We really need to know a few things. We need to know, obviously, your name, your campus email, and then a way to contact you back. So phone number for sure, and then if you're part of a group, if you're part of a law firm, if you're part of a QRC firm or something, please note that as well, because some of the issues we're seeing is around the way we have people associated in groups, and we want to make sure that that's not the issue there. The big one is also a timestamp when things occurred. So whatever, if you went in and you said, I logged in as I'm Brad Morse with my email, and I logged in as a QRC, and I was unable to see my my cases that I had expected to see. Please, tell us when you logged in. What time was it? What was the expected behavior? If you can provide screenshots, that's great. We know that's not everybody's forte, but that's always helpful. But what was the expected behavior? I was expecting to see some cases, and we then can start to triage and look at it and figure out, okay, we may have seen a problem here. A lot of times, if we're seeing something come through the help desk and it gets escalated to my group, we look at it and we will reach out to somebody who was experiencing this and try to ensure what data was supposed to be present. We will work with them when we put out the fix. We then follow up to see, was that data present now, so that way we know that the fix works. So we have a number of ways where the help desk is that gatekeeper. They really take pride in what they do, and they will get you to the right people. The problem is right now, the right people are very bogged down. They're trying to get out of this, and from a department standpoint, we're putting all effort and resources into, one, getting everybody caught up, and then two, getting support for the future so that we don't run into this issue again.
Brad, I was just going to pause. We have some questions in the chat, and I did mention in the chat, if anything is specific, like to your organization or a problem that you're seeing with your organization, those we would ask you to continue routing through the help desk. But there are a few general questions here that I think apply to everyone. So I just kind of wanted to run through those if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. So the first one is campus current with documents that were filed prior to the campus rollout? For example, if there was a medical request that was filed on 10/31/20 by an employee's attorney, should that be showing up in campus?
That's a good question. So campus is to have all documents that were filed before go live. And I believe our cutoff for filings was Friday at 4, so whatever day that was. I think that was the 30th, October 30th. And what we have seen, and one of the things we were going to talk about is when we were doing our conversion, some of those files didn't come over. And they're some of them have data there where you click on them and they don't display anything, and some of them didn't come over at all. So we do have a fix in place on that, and that will be fixed Sunday evening to get all those documents viewable for all the stakeholders, because we know that is a major issue. In the meantime, our staff does have access to the old system, so they have been able to get those documents if they need them, or if you need them, obviously through a file request or something, we can get those documents. But if you are patient, we will have that fixed on Sunday. We will start testing it on Saturday, and then make sure it's fixed Sunday. But that's something we do know is an issue that's outstanding. We will get that fixed.
Thanks, Brad. A couple more questions. So there's a question here about viewing claims that are associated to your organization and whether or not claims would be assigned to adjusters upon receipt of the FROI. So I can field that one. The claims would not be assigned to the adjuster specifically by campus. That would be something that your group administrator would do if you want them specifically assigned to the adjuster. And then as far as claims that you've already filed with us, you would need to file your update report or your UR report in order for those to populate in campus, just so they have all of the correct data for release 3.1 EEI filings. Let's see here, I have a few more. Are there any discussions or questions or any considerations of rolling back the system to what was previously used until the fixes are put in?
No, not at this time.
Do we anticipate system response times and performance to increase?
Yes, that is something we are watching, and we have multiple a performance engineer going to go through the system next week to look and see where the performance is occurring. As most people are aware, we are in the Azure environment, so we are in a cloud environment, so performance should be relatively quick depending on what function you're doing. But we have performance standards that were met before go live, and we will have another performance test to see if we are deficient in anywhere.
And then there was just another question about having a campus answer hour to talk about workday, everyday work processes. I believe we are planning to continue the answer hours that we had prior to go live. Is that correct, Brad?
That is correct. There's a slide on that coming out of future trainings and activities, but if we need to schedule some answer hours for next week, I'm more than willing and available to look into that.
Okay. And then a few other questions. If we need to file something and we're unable to do so because of a bug in the system, specifically rehab filings, is there an alternate way that we may file those forms while we wait for the glitches to be worked out?
Yeah, and I think that comes to a question that we're getting a lot, not just with the rehab filings, but with some other filings that are due. If there's a system issue that's causing your filing to fail, we do know rehab filings right now are an issue that was brought to our attention yesterday, and so we want to ensure that we're able to one, that the compliance team is aware of this and that this isn't going to be something considered malicious for a penalty purpose. This is something we understood, and the commissioner has talked about that from a compliance standpoint, that we are going to, work with you on this and not look at this as a compliance problem. The second is how to get something filed that it has to be filed either by a statutory requirement or it affects something that, puts you on the hook for something else. So for instance, a denial or a suspension of benefits, those things we know that there has to be some way for you to get those filed. So we had communications yesterday on how to do the suspension of benefits. I believe, Angie, is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
And I will put out something tonight for the QRCs on what to do about the rehab filings for this week. We will have the rehab filings again. That's something we're looking to aggressively fix, but by this weekend. But we do know there are some issues. We will get that out tonight of what to do on those filings if you do have something to, or you do have to do like a plan closure or something. I'll make sure we get that out tonight. We'll send it out to the rehab community and any other of these ones where we know we have a timeliness or a filing that we need to have a workaround. For the meantime, we can do that.
And then there's another couple questions that I think are relevant to the whole group. Incorrect information within campus. If we see incorrect information within campus, is that something we should fix or something we should report to the department, such as an incorrect insurance company name?
Yeah, that's something you'd want to report to the department, and we would work with you. I believe there's a entity, we have people that do make those changes, so please report that to the department and we can change that in the system. The reason why we do have that, we lock down that ability on certain things is because we have to go with the licensed name in certain instances. For instance, a licensed carrier with Commerce, we use the, so we want to make sure that if something got migrated incorrectly and we change the name, we want to make sure we change it back to the correct name, but also we have to confirm it with our partners in the other state agencies.
Thanks, Brad. And then just two more questions and we'll pause for a bit. Is there a WID lookup in campus, or how can we find a WID?
I know that CRT is looking into that. So as of right now, a WID lookup is not available on campus, and it was something that that was never in the requirements to have a WID lookup. So this is something CRT is currently working on messaging right now to get out to everybody of what to do, because obviously the old WID lookup was hooked up to the old system, which doesn't work anymore. So how do we get WIDs to people and who can field those questions? I was just in a meeting where the director of CRT has a plan, and we'll be sending out a statement on that issue of what to do about a WID lookup.
All right, and then just another question, if we're not considering a rollback, if the system is not working properly, what is the reason for not considering that rollback?
The reason is because we haven't hit a catastrophic failure to the point where we would consider a rollback. Because a rollback, there's a number of procedures you have to do. We have a large data set that's already been delivered into the system that would have to manually be entered back into the old system. So until we hit something that we feel is catastrophic, we wouldn't consider a rollback. There's a number of plans that the state has and that the department has for their IT systems that kind of dictate when you do a rollback or when you take a system down and what amount of time you would take a system down for. So that's those are the guidelines we're going off of. But I understand that from if I was out there and something wasn't working, I understand where everybody's coming from on that. And, why wouldn't you just roll it back? It's because there's just a cascading effect to trying to do a rollback and keep data that's already been entered into the system.
All right, thanks, Brad. I'm going to pause on the questions for now so that you can make sure that we get through the rest of this information.
Yeah, I think the questions are the most important, so I'll hit the slides pretty quick and hopefully they answer some questions. But yeah, let's make sure we get those questions going and keep talking. So let's go to the next slide. So this one is what we're hearing is when are the bugs going to be fixed, and what is it? So we do take the anything that is gets up to what we consider a bug, it gets logged, it immediately gets prioritized based on impact, based on stakeholder, based on what effect it has. And we then put that into our board and we start to triage them and then get them in the development pipeline. We will do during the surge period, we want to implement fixes as often as possible until the system's stable. So we did do 2 fixes over this week, along with and I say two releases, which was a total of 12 issues that we needed to take care of. And we did a hot fix, which is something where we put something through just because it was deemed critical. The others that you're seeing where we are having some of these issues, like I said, we have a release scheduled on Sunday. We are going to try and clear most of this by Sunday. I can't guarantee everything. Obviously, it depends on capacity to make sure that it's tested and that when we do introduce it into the system, that it doesn't have another effect where it causes more problems down the line. And that's why we've been very judicious in what we are releasing. But we will be doing bug fix releases weekly until the bug board or the bug count drops. And then at that time, we will move to a bi-weekly release. We are going to start posting what items are going to be fixed in what week, or for at least that week, so that way you will have that information to know what's coming up, and so that if there's workarounds, we will make sure we tell everybody what to do. Next slide. Yeah, this one I kind of already went over, but we do have a help desk process that we want to make sure that when somebody calls, that once it goes to a tier 2, it's a ticket. The ticket goes to the subject matter experts that we talked about earlier, and that they are resolving those tickets with you. If it's something that you get a call back on and they say, this is a known issue, it's a bug, and they will try to set an expectation of when that would be fixed. If they don't know, it's because it's still being prioritized and we don't have a release date yet, but the item will be fixed, or they hopefully will be able to walk you through the process. So that's something the department is focusing on right now to get all those updated and get that backlog cleared on those tickets. We'll go to the next one, Andrew. Okay. So yeah, we are creating some key messaging for what issues are out there and when they're going to be fixed. I'm working with the communications team to start stepping up our communications to the stakeholder groups of known issues. Now that we have our day, we're day 4, we can start to say some of the predominant issues, and we can start getting those out there, and also working with the business units if there's needed workarounds, such as the needing to file certain forms for a statutory deadline. We will definitely, if anything's critical, we definitely will have that on our, our campus communications page, but the also will push out an email and blast from our Gov delivery. Go to the next one. All right, so we're getting to frequently asked questions. And Angie, maybe we pause here. Let's take some more questions from everybody, and then we can jump into these FAQs.
Yes. So the next one I'm seeing is there a search button to look up a client name? And all of the names I've noticed are listed in alphabetical order. By first name, can that be changed?
Angie, do you
Yeah.
get text on what they're looking at here?
Yeah, I think it might be just an external user asking about if there's a search button to look up client information. I'm not sure if it would be like a rehab or legal. And then also I noticed, this one says, I noticed that the names are alpha by first name. Can that be changed? I would assume that that is just how they're listed on some of your queues potentially. So we can certainly look into maybe changing that to last name. I was under the impression that they were listed as last name, but we can double check on that. And then there were a couple more questions. Has anyone been able to effectively submit UR filings?
Yeah, we've received 11,000 successful UR transactions.
There's just a note here. A few people are just concerned about penalties and just the cascading effect of the ability for them to do their work if the system isn't being able to allow that efficiently. Is the state considering any of that?
Yeah, we definitely, it's the top of mind for the commissioner's office. Like I said before, the commissioner's already made a statement and sent it out in a memo about the penalties, but also just the inability for people to conduct business is something that we are all very aware of. We take that to heart. We know that, you folks are the people that are, working through this work comp process to, do your statutory obligation on either, providing benefits for an injured worker or rehab or representing somebody in a dispute. And we want to make sure that that is better. And right now we're not achieving that goal. And we know that. And so that's why we are asking for some grace right now to get out a release this weekend to get us to a more stable point where we can start to address some of these specific work issues instead of right now we have a lot of stuff we're noticing that is our collision problem where our old data and our new data is causing issues for people to see their cases or even register. We want to get through that, and so we can start working with people on how to streamline the process and better use the system.
And then there were just a few general questions that I've noticed throughout the chat where people are having issues either with not understanding an EDI error, or you're not sure of your submission method, or you're getting errors saying trading partner not found or insurer not found when you get those EDI acknowledgments back. If you have questions that are specific to EDI or how you're set up as a trading partner, I did just put an email address in the chat that's specific for our EDI team. They can typically help you out with some of those issues. Again, I would just ask that you give them some grace and be patient with them because they are fielding quite a few questions. This is a huge change from what we were doing with just our Pro EDI, but that would be the group that you'd want to go to if you are having issues with your trading partner information or just some EDI errors in general. And then a few.
Yeah, can I touch on the one?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure. I know that sometimes these errors come back and there's some questions on them. We have been working with the vendors, if you're using a vendor, to help with some of that, to make sure they are more understandable. We know there is one out there that we just fixed that was a little bit, it didn't make a lot of sense, but that type of feedback, please let us know. Or if you want to, please tell your vendor because they'll definitely let us know about some of these error messages not making sense, or if there's incorrect things happening, they're very good stewards, and they talk to us daily.
All right. And then just a couple more. So just to confirm, there is not currently backup plan or turning on the faxes for filing outside of campus if we're unable to file electronically. Is that correct?
That is correct. Now, like I said, if we're having it, if we're day 4, if we're running up against some statutory deadlines for people, we're going to start putting out contingency plans, and I will work on the one for the QRCs this tonight, and then if we're running into any others, we'll start working on those tomorrow. Again, we are hoping that everything is resolved. Most of these are resolved by next week, and we're able to get people to get those filings into us.
All right. I just have a couple requests here for the link to the Central Communications page, a document link for EDI transactions that generate forms and letters that can be sent to the claimant, and then a link for the e-form training, I believe, and the UR qualifications. Pollock or Melissa, if you guys are both on the call, if you wouldn't mind adding those links to the chat, since my screen is blocked with the PowerPoint at the moment, that would be helpful.
Hey, Angie, this is Pollock. We're actually finalizing the content for that page, so we're going to include it in our newsletter that's going out tomorrow.
Okay. There was just another question about the URs. So can we elaborate on the UR situation? We haven't been able to enter the jurisdiction claim numbers and have not been able to successfully complete any URs. If you need jurisdiction claim numbers, I believe you can reach out to the EDI team. They may be able to complete a report to pull those for you.
All right, we'll go through some of these frequently asked questions. Angie, if you're seeing anything in the chat, please.
Yeah, I apologize. I still got quite a bit in the chat. I just kind of wanted to run through.
You keep going.
So there was a request just to show the specific filing of a new FROI and walk through the filing of each line on the initial FROI. We actually do already have a training that goes through that is recorded. I will have Pollock go ahead and put our eForm training link in the chat for you. If there's additional questions or specific training processes that we need to show, we can certainly take those into consideration in our specific unit answer hours.
We do have stakeholder specific answer hours scheduled for next week. And then I'm just going to really welcome everyone to provide their feedback and how we can best support you through this post-school life period. So again, that newsletter that's going out tomorrow will include a link. So that information will be really helpful as we figure out the plan to best support everyone through this transition period.
Thanks, Pollock. A few more questions. Who should we contact or what should we do if our claims and cases are not showing up in our campus account? This is specifically for law firms.
Yeah, the first thing you would do is you would reach out to the help desk or send an email. They would tag a tier 2 person, and it routes to a number of people. It does route to people that are in the ADR unit sometimes, so that they can help look this up. One of the things, and for everybody that we've encountered, is that when we set up the new law firms and QRCs with the most up-to-date data we had, because we had multiple source systems coming back, some of them got duplicated, and so some people were put under a firm and the cases were put under the other one. The law firm, we did resolve 77 of them. We still have 280 that we are waiting to get final confirmation on from the people that are manually going through and ensuring that we do indeed have correct which one is the duplicate of the firm, and we will get those resolved as soon as that gets done. I mean, that is tagged for this weekend. Some of the same thing is going on with our QRC firms. that we're starting to see that we do have QRC firms, and we'll have another exercise for that as well. And that is causing, that's some of the data things we talked about up front. It's causing some of the major issues for everybody, is that the cases got put under one firm that we tested with, but when we went over into the prod environment, there was a couple data sources that came over that were linking to old things that we had to bring over for legacy purposes. It caused some issues. So some of that work is being done, but in the meantime, please reach out to our tier 2, have them get a ticket, see where it is, because if it's somebody we have already cleaned up and we expect it to be working and it's not working, I would really like to know, and we would like to maybe even get on a screenshot or a Teams meeting, and we'll go through it. We'll look at your screen to see what you're seeing, and we'll figure it out.
All right. A couple more questions here. Where do you enter the jurisdiction claim number on what field? So that is a little unclear. If you could just add some additional context if you're asking about an EDI transaction or an e-form or filing a legal form, that would be helpful. In hindsight, how could this process have gone better for all parties?
We will do a retrospective at the end of next week, and we will look at that. Right now we are looking forward to try and, get everybody stabilized, get the system stabilized so that it works. But we will do a retrospective, like I said, at the end of next week to see, what could we have done better and what can we do better in the future to make sure that we don't run into some of these issues. Again, I understand that we're all a little frustrated, but we did follow all the best practices for a program release and a project release. So some of these things we do recognize are challenging, but we want you to know that the best practices were followed. We had multiple people review the program, multiple external sources review the program before we did go live.
All right, a few more questions. This particular person's company is waiting back from the department's legal department to give them a call before they register on campus, and are wondering when they could expect that phone call.
If it's something from the Office of General Counsel, they have been working on other department things. I know that I have an email that I'm waiting to respond to, because I've just been trying to figure out some of this other stuff, but I will be following up. If there's a question of, do we have to file for a campus account? The answer to that is yes. There was a statutory change done that requires, under the commissioner authority, that all filings will be done electronic, and that anybody that has to file with the department needs to create an account in campus. So that is under the statute. I will look into that. But if there's something else that you're waiting for our Office of General Counsel, please resend that directly to me, and I will look into it, as I know that they're actually busy with non-campus stuff, so I will look into that.
All right. And there is a question here just about the number of QRC cases appearing in the dashboard. It sounds like some people are seeing quite a few old cases that may be still marked as open, even though they are not closed.
As if they're marked as open, even though they are closed. So an R8 was filed on them. I'm assuming that that's the case. Those types of things. Again, if we could, I will look into some of those issues. That's usually what happens is, the R8 file date was not brought over because it probably stuck on a form and was never data entered, so it just shows the case is open. But we'll look into that to see if there's anything we can do.
Right. Will there be a revised Minnesota the EDI implementation guide with clear codes and next steps for insurers? The codes are a little time consuming and confusing trying to hunt and decipher.
Let me, and I apologize, I'm not understanding the question. So our implementation guide, anytime that we do a change to our EDI, we will have an updated implementation guide. If it's a question about like error codes and messages, that's something that, is in the guide. I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused on that question, so maybe we could get a follow-up on that.
Um, let's see here. How do we know which law firm we should be using? I was told to pick just one, and I assume that's for people that appear to be in 2 law firm groups right now, and I believe that will be resolved soon. Is that correct, Brad?
Yeah, that's one we're working on. I do apologize. The firms that we were able to just use our database queries, we could tell that were identical matches that were duplicate. We fixed. Some of the others we were not able to do that with, so we have to actually have a human. And the task to get that done is tomorrow, and then we will have that implemented over the weekend. So we will have, if you're part of a law firm or whatever your law firm is, you will all be part of the same law firm with the same group manager or with the group manager if you've selected.
Will there be a way for claimants to sign paperwork electronically? This would be a huge help.
Yeah, I know that's something we definitely looked at in the beginning. So there's 2 challenges to that. Right now, that is not built into campus because first off, the claimants do not have to register for campus. The statute that I referenced earlier, talking about if you want to make a filing with the department, it excludes employees as a that has to create an account. That's the only exclusion to that. So you can't mandatory do it. The other piece of it is that a lot of those signatures from clients are more of a function of work that's outside of the department's realm, and then you're reporting to the department after that's already been done. So we don't have any real, document routing for you to go to an injured worker. It was something we did look at, and definitely keep it on the radar if there is a good business case for it for the future, but right now that is not happening.
And just a question about our forms. So should we continue to process our forms as we did prior to campus until we are able to file them with the department via campus?
Yeah, like I said, I will get something out tonight on what the CRT process will be on the R forms that we need to get out.
All right. There was a question about how to change an email address which you registered with. It is not in the technical manual apparently, but I believe that you can change that in the same place where you can update your name. I will double check on that, and we'll make sure to send that out as a group communication in case people need to update their email address. I apologize, I don't have the application right in front of me right now, and it's kind of escaping me how to actually make that change. Couple more questions. Is there a complaint line or a panel to discuss ongoing issues if we're not getting things changed or updated to be able to operate our business? We are in a COVID environment and we have a lot of health carriers, and there are about 70 claims that need to be reported.
Yeah, definitely there is. So I think the first thing is getting the feedback logged. If you want to, it goes through the help desk, and it goes to the program owner group. If there's something like that is made up of business and minute, on up to the executives of the project, that we can escalate things through. I do have a question of why is it you're not able to file. Just follow-up question: is this you're not able to file claims?
And I can't see that quite right now. I'll try and scroll down and see if I can get that question. And I apologize. I don't know if Melissa is on the line. Could you confirm that the EDI mailbox seems not to be working at the moment? Is that accurate? It should be dli.edi@state.mn.us.
Hi, Angie. Yep, that's the correct email address. And I was just looking into that. I can't access it right now, but some of our team is still able to access it. And it looks like there are still emails in there. So I'm not sure if it's just slow in receiving the emails, but I've heard that some people are getting, I think, a bounce back that response of it's not valid or something. So if that's the case, if someone could confirm that, we are definitely looking into that. We do have some team members who have access to it, and there are emails in there, but I'm concerned that maybe we're not getting all of them, or if there's another issue. So that's something we continue to look into.
Thanks, Melissa. There was another question just about filing partial suspensions. So when filing a discontinuance, the instructions are also to submit a PX. We cannot find the option to submit a PX in our dropdown. So you actually would only use a PX if you are paying multiple benefits at the same time and you're just trying to suspend one. Otherwise, you would submit an SX. So that is likely why you're not seeing that PX in your drop-down screen. What is the email address for the help desk? I believe that it is just...
We just have Melissa chat for us.
Yeah. We'll add that to the chat. Yep, I'm seeing, that there are bounce back issues to the EDI email address, so we will look into that. There is an alternate email address that we can make available if necessary, I believe, so I will work on that as soon as we're off this call as well for those of you with EDI and trading partner issues. Should I hold off on having people register until we know for sure which law firm our members should be registered to? So this is specifically for that law firm cleanup. Can other companies or can people go ahead and have their people register if they know that they are in the correct group? I believe the answer to that would be yes.
Yeah, I would just have everybody register. Like I said, we can run that. The minute we get the green light, we'll clean those up.
If you are filing an 04 denial, is there anything else that needs to be uploaded to the state? And what do we mail to the employee? So that is one of the forms that would bounce back to you if you are filing via EDI. The only other thing that you would have to upload to campus is any supporting documentation for that denial. And then that form that you are sent back is going to be what you would send to the employee along with whatever documentation you included in campus. And then Angel, thanks for putting a comment in there for editing your email address. Thank you, Angela, for putting the help desk email in. Is there a way to keep the address information for the trading partner on file so you don't have to enter that every time you do a UR or any filing? We will take that question specifically offline. I don't believe that that should be occurring that way. This may be a specific situation. This is a legal question. I have an answer to a claim petition that is due tomorrow. What is our recourse to get this filed timely? Will that be something that will also be addressed in that follow-up email, Brad?
Actually, Claim petitions and answers to claim petitions, they actually still go into the C-Track product from the Office of Administrative Hearings. So if you remember when we were doing our training, like the stuff that was filed in C-Track doesn't change. So you would just continue to file everything that was filed in C-Track there. And I don't believe there's any, I've not heard of any issues with C-Track. I know it's up and running and working well.
Mhm. Thanks, Brad. I know we've had a couple people ask about WIDs, especially when doing filings. It says that the WID is not being fully entered. The WID does need to have some leading zeros in some situations now. I believe it is now an 8 or a 9 or 10 digit number, including the EE in front of it. So it does need to be fully filled out. I believe that the format is EE, and then there are 2 numeric characters, there are 4 numeric characters, and then 3 numeric characters. So if you are getting an error saying that your WID is not complete or not correct, just go ahead and add zeros between those E's and then the rest of the number, and you should be all set. Do we have a link to the page where we plan to post the bug fix schedule and any workarounds?
Yeah, that will be posted tomorrow. And as Paula mentioned, she's sending out a communication tomorrow with that link in there. And so that's when that will, we can get that out to you.
What is the standard turnaround time for answers submitted via phone or email to the help desk?
You know, right now, like I mentioned earlier, we did have a large volume of calls, and we didn't have the availability of some of our people to answer them. So we have freed them up. So currently they're trying to get all their backlog stuff done. And we do know we have people that unfortunately have not been contacted for a couple of days. And that's not the department standard, and that's not acceptable to the commissioner's office right now. So we will get those caught up, and then you will have a normal expected turnaround time of 24 to 48 hours after those are caught up. And sometimes the answers are things such as something we're working on or feedback we're taking, but we will get those responses out. But as of right now, because they are backlogged 3 days, that turnaround time will not happen for a number of at least a few number of days or a week or two.
All right, a couple more questions. Just OAH is not recognizing the WIDs with leading zeros. Will this be addressed in C-Track? And if so, when?
No, I don't believe there's any plans to change C-Track at this time, and I'm not going to speak for OAH. And all I can speak for is the reason why we did it was for consistency and a format, so that everybody, screen readers and everybody could have a consistent look and feel. Also visually for the eye, for people who have visual impairments, to have the dashes breaking it up, and then having a format that's all one length, so that people who have WIDs that are 2 digits, it's very odd for them, and it doesn't look right. So that's why we went with this change, was based on a user experience and accessibility thing. But I don't believe that at this time OAH is looking to change their formatting in their system.
Thanks, Brad. And the last question that I've got here for right now, is there any way to view the claim handler in Campus in the file summary, or is there any ability for our company in our company's list to filter by the claim handler, the file handler? I would assume that would be the individual adjuster. And we don't we would not store that information other than what's sent via EDI. So that is not something that you would be able to search or filter by. You should be able to search by your or filter by your claim admin claim number on your specific entity details page. And that's all that I'm seeing right at the moment, Brad.
All right, so we have 3 minutes left. We can go to our frequently asked questions. A couple of things that I know will help out. One, this platform is based so where it works a lot better with Chrome. And so if you have Chrome, you do solve a lot of your issues. If you're having issues, trouble setting up my groups, we have an issue. We also have a workers' comp team that is assigned to help with group management and help people get through those problems. A lot of people that are trying to have issues with their groups have the issue with the number 3 here about getting locked out and the password isn't working. We have a group that can unlock you. Just please send that an email saying I'm locked out. I need to get locked back in. We do have a security requirement in there that if you do get locked out, you can't unlock it for 24 hours, which we know is right now is very difficult and can be challenging.
Brad, I wanted to specify with that. I think that is specific for changing your passwords. So if you change your password, you must wait 24 hours to change it a second time. We can unlock you though if you do know your password.
Yeah, sorry about that. Go to the next one. All right, Pollock, are you on? Do you want to speak to this real quick? Or I can. We only have 1 minute left, so I'll jump through it. These are the activities we have planned for the towards the end of the month. Having additional answer hours and having more communications and things of that nature. So as you see here on the 10th, we do have some answer hours for the law firms and the employees where we can go through some of the functionality you're questioning. The 12th, we do have the trading partner one, rehabs on the 13th, so we do have all that. And so we definitely will go there.
And we did just get a question asking if we could schedule an answer hour for medical providers. We can definitely take that away as something to look into.
Okay. Want to go next one, Angie? All right. Well, we're at 2 o'clock, so if anybody has any final questions, please put them out there. If not, please continue to work with the help desk. If we need to have more answer hours and have more communications with everybody, we'd be glad to do so. So please, let us know. But I do want to say thank you for your patience, and please, just have some grace with us right now because we are diligently trying to get all these addressed and fixed. And I see a few came through. Is there anything in there?
Just a question about the EDI email. So will we get a communication if the EDI email is not working? If that's the case, we'll be sure to get something out. And then just a question about additional answer hour for rehab providers. And I believe we do have one scheduled currently for 11/13 for rehab providers. All right, thank you everyone so much for your questions, and especially for those of you who are doing a great job of being really patient. We definitely appreciate it. And I will leave it to Brad for any last words.
Yeah, I see one last one that came through there. Bridget, about the QRCs with those client issues. Can you please put your email address in the chat? And with that, again, I say thank you, and I'll let you all go, and we will schedule some more. And so look for that fix to come out on Sunday. So next week you should have a little bit easier time using Canvas. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.